All right, so I thought I'd go ahead and give a little update since I've been starting some new supplements and peptides, and since moving here to Houston area. Been here for almost a year now, coming up on a year, a couple of weeks. So outside of Houston, near Sugarland, is where I reside. Bought a house over here, did some updates, and yeah, just trucking along. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of share the supplements of like methylene blue, SLU, and a few other things I've been taking. So I know some of you guys have had questions about that. And there we go. So I use private MD labs, and they will typically refer you to get the testing done over at Quest. It used to be like LabCorp or Quest, but Quest is cheaper. I think they have a contract with them, but nonetheless, they are fast. So I wanted to see really what's going on with my blood work since starting these things. So I haven't had my blood work in like probably like 8 months now. So HDL, it's always low for me, but this is actually higher than what it usually is. Typically, it's like in the 20s. Um, so this has gone up. Triglycerides are always this low, total cholesterol pretty low. LDL is always under 100. LH, my luteinizing hormone, it's like unmeasurable. So LH and FSH uh, are going to be so below the reading that they don't even exist, right? So I'm on uh, uh, testosterone, so I'm on test and right now I'm doing 175 every other day. So I just got on that, and I'm on 2 IUs of GH. So I'll show you kind of what I have here. It's going to be generics. I've tried the Serostim in the past, and it my body just for some reason gives me some really bad side effects, like the numbness of the hands, uh, the uh, uh, glucose, high fasting blood glucose, so insulin resistance, things like that. And I take my GH before I go to bed. I used to do it like pre-cardio on an empty stomach to try to help with lipolysis, so breaking down fat for energy, and not so much of the carbs. But the more you dive into it and listen to people like Kurt Havens, uh, the GH doesn't really get active for like 4 hours. So you'll see like kind of like a peak go up, and within that 4 hours, then it starts to really doing its job. So I'm not pinning it 4 hours before I do my fasted cardio. Um, so uh, my blood glucose is a little bit higher, and I'm assuming it's just from the growth hormone. I know 2 IUs isn't much, but some people respond differently, and I think I respond a little bit too much to this, maybe due to like the autoimmune disease. I'm not sure, right? So 89 is usually never that high. I did not go into this test fasted, so I did work out. So I worked out and I had a meal, and then about an hour, uh, yeah, it's about an hour later, this is what my readings came back as. Okay, so keep that in mind. So typically it should be higher. My meal post-workout was 40 grams of protein and 120 grams of carbs and probably like 5 grams of fat, right? So this is about like an hour, hour and a half after. So glucose came back down to 89. Um, I do take creatine. So my creatinine, again, there's no correlation with taking creatine and then having kidney dysfunction. But some people will correlate that. So I'm just letting you know, like, hey, I take creatine, 5 grams creatine every single day, but it's not going to skew this reading. That's not how it works. Like, it just doesn't work like that. If you really are concerned about uh, like your GFR for your kidneys, I mean, I would say go for a cystatin C test if you really have issues with kidneys or genetic predisposition, because that's going to give you more information on your kidney health and your glomerular filtration. Mine is 112, so again, never been low on that. This is the first time though that my AST and ALT have been low, below 100, so they're within range, and this is after working out. Usually they're like 180 to 200 and something. So really cool to see these guys down. Um, and I can assume that there might be a couple things to play with. I am taking more TUDCA. So I'm taking about a gram of TUDCA and revived liver, like I always do. And the TUDCA will come from different sources. Right now I'm using All Max, but I mean, it can go from All Max or Leviathan. NutriBio has like a liver care. I'll do that as well. But also, I've been taking a lot of like lactobacillus um, uh, probiotics and Bacillus subtilis, a lot of soil-based organisms. So soil-based probiotics, and that's going to be with Ancient Nutrition, who I work with. And I'm assuming that has something to do with overall organ health, that decreasing overall stress and helping my GI tract and helping the gut bacteria, the, the like gut diversity. So so that's all new, and I'm taking a pretty high dose of that as well. So I'm taking methylene blue as well. Right now, this is the one from Modern Aminos. Usually, um, Modern Aminos or Biolabs over in Poland. So I tried those two, and then Aminozymes just came out one, but it's a liquid, and I'm not the biggest fan of the liquid stuff because you can't really dose it. My urine is not green unless I like haven't eaten any food and I'm kind of dehydrated, then it'll turn slightly green, but nothing like these people. They're probably taking like 20 milligrams, 40 milligrams, 50 milligrams. I mean, it goes up pretty high to like the hundreds of milligrams is what some lab or clinical testing has done. I'm taking 10 milligrams a day in the morning before my workout. It's not enough to decrease vasodilation. So if you're worried about it reducing pumps, that's going to be the studies I think were like over 100 milligrams. I forgot like the kilograms per or milligram per kilogram, but it's ridiculously high, right? um, so I think controlling the inflammation within my body and the autoimmune issues I have, uh, I'm assuming that that's why my liver enzymes are coming back uh, lower. Also, this isn't indicative of like a cirrhosis or um, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Keep in mind when your body has a lot of trauma, it will shoot those enzymes up because it's the stress on the body and trying to recirculate blood, proteins, push things out. Um, so keep that in mind. I didn't work out hard this day before the test. Just pretty much move my body, get some blood flow, and let's see. We're going down. Everything's within range here because I'm not sick. I haven't been sick since I moved here. Since taking all the soil-based organisms, SBO probiotics from Ancient Nutrition, and I've been taking tons of uh, multi-collagen by Ancient Nutrition. So you got 10 different types of collagen, 5 different sources, and I've been taking a lot of bone broth protein. So really increasing the amount of nose to tail amino acid profile, right? Uh, and then I'm still waiting for some other tests to come back, my free testosterone, total testosterone, estradiol, and IGF-1. Prolactin, I was just testing out just in case. Usually, if the prolactin's high, like I don't have any symptoms, but if it is high, based on like mood swings and such, discharge of nipple, like that could be a sign of high prolactin. I think sometimes the mood swing is a big deal, but that can be a correlation with high estrogen. And typically, I haven't seen that in people unless they have high estrogen and or like high body fat and they start, or they're taking 19 nors So just wanted to check that out. And then the sex hormone binding globulin, keeping it lower. You don't want it to crash. You don't have any sex drive. So right there in mid-range is what I'm looking for. Again, not taking anything to try to lower that. So not taking bromine or uh, not taking boron and not taking like Masteron or anything like that. Or I would assume Primabol might do the same thing. I'm not sure, but I've seen Masteron do it. Drop that down a little bit lower. Proviron, I've seen for sure. So I'm not taking any of that. So everything looks great right now. I'm just trying to see what my free testosterone is. And the day that I got this test was the day I did not pin. So it had a good over 24 hours of in my bloodstream, probably about like 35 hours in my bloodstream for it to peak and such. But again, I do it every other day, just uh, trying to like to not have peaks and drops of hormones. I find more mental clarity, better energy, less mood swings from pinning every other day. So, and they're all again cypionate. It's a very long ester, very similar to enanthate, but cypionate I just respond better. Enanthate seems to give me more acne, so I don't have any acne with cypionate, which is great. Um, I have been keeping my calories in check though. Um, so trying to drop a little bit of body weight because whenever I moved here to Texas, I had rhabdo and that took months to get over and just start training right. So wasn't training hard. I was eating more food than what I normally would if I had that type of like low level activity. So typically 4,300 calories is what I was looking at daily. Um, but that's also with me moving around a lot more, like 15 to 20,000 steps per day, plus working out. So I wasn't doing that when I got here. So I put on some extra body weight. So then I started dieting. So now I'm down to like, um, I was up to like 230 something, and I'm down to 212. Again, 6 foot tall, 212. Not a lot of body fat on me right now. And my calories, they range. They'll go from like 2,300 up to like maybe 27, 2,800. So not a lot of food coming in. Haven't lost any strength. The SLU I've been taking. So for about like 2 weeks, I've been taking 250 micrograms in the morning before I go work out. Again, I try to work out in the morning whenever I can. And then I just bumped it up last week to 500 micrograms to 2 in the morning before training. Studies typically show to split the dose for that's with rodents. However, I am not doing that. Does it have anything to reduce like any reason to reduce my estrogen or SHBG? I don't know. I mean, it is a SERM technically, but I'm not losing any muscle mass while I am eating less calories and working out more. So not sure about that. I mean, it could whenever I get my estradiol. Ultra sensitive is the one I have on my test. Again, that's the one that you want, especially if you're taking any 19 Norse, because you want to kind of filter that out. It might skew your estrogen, those 19 Norse. So you get the ultra sensitive, and that should reduce the risk of your numbers being skewed. And also alongside dieting with that, I'm taking retatrutide. Can cover my face. So this one, 10 milligrams per vial. You got to reconstitute it and then keep it in the fridge. This is from Chase Irons. Reta, it's the generation 3 GLP-1. Now, the cool thing about this is that some of the studies have shown to help with addictive behavior, and that is one thing that is in my genes, right? Like it's genetically like built into me to have some sort of addiction problem, whether that be, overtraining or eating too healthy or being too anal about things that need to get done in the house task wise or whatnot. This seems to help those people who are having trouble overcoming addictions. So like people who need to help stop smoking, drinking, it can help with that. So that also seems to be able to help with the depression as well. As far as uh, as far as doing it on its own, not likely. But if you're active about it and you're really trying to reduce, let's say, food cravings or food noise is what they call it, uh, smoking, other drugs like maybe amphetamines, I would say give this a try. Again, I'm doing 1 milligram every week, so every Thursday. So I just pin it once, pin it in my belly, sub Q, um, and I don't get any GI disruption. So there's no slowing down of the GI tract. I don't have any problems with going to the bathroom. It's everything's still consistent, but definitely it's manageable to eat my meals. But I can easily see how if I move up in the dose, I could not want to eat. So I could see how people are saying, hey, it might reduce the amount of lean muscle tissue you have. Uh, but I'd assume that the dose is the poison, right? And then next, this is what I already said. This is generic growth. 2 IUs is all I take before I go to bed. If the vial is like running low, I'll just put it all in one and inject it. So sometimes it's like 3 a week, 3 a day. And again, at night, usually like an hour before I go to bed. Um, not fasted technically, like semi-fasted. So again, it takes like close to 4 hours to get into your bloodstream and to be in full effect. So I wouldn't be too worried about if you're eating a very light meal before going to bed, and then 30 minutes later you pop 2 IUs, 6 IUs, whatever you want to do. Then I would say you wouldn't have an issue with people. People might blame it for like gut dissension. I don't think you'll have an issue with that. So your stomach will be cleared out of the food by then, assuming your gastric emptying rate is it's not uh, slow. So that's what I'm doing now. Still taking my other supplements, my a multivitamin with organs like from Ancient Nutrition, quarter block to help with cortisol. Take that at night. That's from Chemix. Organ support by Chemix. Liver, kidney by Revive. Tutka from Allmax. B complex from Life Extension. Some vitamin C, betaine, HCl with pepsin to help with digesting protein so that it doesn't feel like it's sitting there for a while. For some reason, it seems like I can't digest protein without that. So I make sure to take that before higher protein meals and alpha lipoic acid, fish oil. I'm doing like 6 grams of fish oil right now. I'll do that splitting up at night and then after working out. Let's see what else. Those yohimbine in the morning. So I am doing NutriBio's yohimbine. I think that's like 3 milligrams. I do that in the morning as well. Since I work out, I don't work out fasted. I wake up in the morning and I'll get everything ready for the kids. Get, kids got to go to school, so I get all their stuff ready and then do my morning business. And I'll have a protein shake of 20, about 20 grams of whey protein. Uh, and then I'll have about 10 grams of the multi-collagen. And then I'll add in salt and 4 grams of taurine. So I'll do that, and then I'll have 30 grams of carbs. And right now I'm using Demo Day, Axe and Sledge, that with my pre-workout as I'm driving to the gym after dropping the kids off. And then I will have another 30 grams in my intra, along with a scoop of EAAs and 4 grams of taurine. So I haven't had any like issues, again, GI distress or anything. Everything's really good, digestion's really good, and no bloating issues. And yeah, so that's kind of the update on me. So everything's going good. Yeah, so so far, methylene blue, SLU, Reta have been amazing and no negative effects. The blood work is beyond perfect from what is I usually have. No, autoimmune problems right now. So there's no allergies, no like eczema. I can't really think of anything, man. I mean, if I can find something to get rid of gray hair, I would because I have tons of gray hair now. And that's it, man. I'm going to continue using these things. I'm not going to go up in dose on methylene blue. I'm going to stick at 10 milligrams. SLU, I'm going to stick at 500 micrograms. I don't know if there's like a diminishing return, like how high. I've heard people going to like 1 milligram per day. I mean, I would split that up probably, like 500, 500. Um, yeah, on an empty stomach, I would assume. I mean, I take mine in the morning on a semi-empty stomach. Um, and I feel like it's just been working, right? Cognitive function is great. I don't, I used to have like the afternoon kind of being sluggish and I want to take a nap, but not with this. I mean, it is great. And I am usually uh, very tolerant to things like caffeine and amphetamines and stuff like that. I could drink a Monster, I could drink a Bang, a Rain, a Ghost, and I can go to bed. So I'm probably not the perfect candidate to be like, hey, like if you're sensitive to methylene blue, which I know some people are, I don't know, man. I don't really want to go to 20 milligrams. I don't find the need if I'm getting what I am looking for at 10 milligrams, why go up? That's kind of like a problem I think we have in the, fitness industry or even in America. Uh, if we think more is better, I don't really think that's the case with a lot of things. I think being consistent and having a longer use of something, you're going to see better results. And then when you stop getting results that you're expecting or that you were having, then I would say you bump up the dose along with getting some sort of parameter blood work done, consultation done to see where you're physically are and mentally are as well. Sometimes we're not in the right mental state, and that can also be skewed if you're dieting as well. As I say, I get more like irritated, angry whenever I have less calories in my diet or I ate less food that day. And then if I try to make up for all those calories at night, then that also doesn't make me have the best mood as well, because now you're just over consuming what you should have been consuming during the day. You're trying to stuff it all in at once. And that could be very uh, frustrating. I guess that could cause like anxiety because you're like, man, I gotta get these calories in, I gotta get this protein in. How am I going to be able to digest it? But then I also have to be semi-fasted to take my growth hormone, but then I also got to go to sleep, and then I got to wake up the next day. I got to do all these things, keep your mind racing. So uh, I think having some sort of support system would help you better navigate what to do with some of these peptides if you're trying to improve or optimize your health, or even get you through some struggling times. But I do believe that this group of methylene blue, SLU, and retatrutide, I think, is a perfect uh, combo in my opinion. And then the growth hormone, again, just two I use. Longevity is really what I'm using it for. I would say if you're looking more for like fat loss, for I use muscle growth, anything 6 and above. I think you're going to get better results from that. And you're not going to see the results from the GH right away. It's going to take like a year to see. I'm not a believer of people saying, oh, it takes like 6 months. And I do it every single day. I don't do 5 days on, 2 days off. You know, back then they were using that protocol. I've heard for a few different reasons. One, the labs were closed on Saturday and Sunday, so you couldn't participate during the study, so they couldn't administer the GH. And two, the pros, the pro bodybuilders back in the day didn't have enough money to afford GH for every single day. So they would do every other day or Monday through Friday and then take 2 days off. So 5 days on, 2 days off. Almost similar to like a clenbuterol thing, like a clenbuterol dosing protocol. But I think growth hormone, I'd rather do a lower dose every single day to reap the benefits. And that's just my opinion. Um, Especially joint integrity, tendon integrity is much vastly improved versus if you're just going to be using BPC 157 and TB 500. I think those can work acutely for acute injuries, but for long-term use and for better joints, for better condyle um, structure, like in condyle integrity, for better synovial fluid, I would think that GH is the way to go. And you can complement that with the BPC and the TB. I would say TB if it's more for muscle, and then BPC if it's tendon ligament. And then if it is a autoimmune problem that is messing with your joints like RA, I would take thymosin for um, for that. So that could help with boosting your immune system because RA is an autoimmune disease. So that's what I would do with that protocol. So yeah, I think that's about it. Um, yeah, so now you know what I'm doing, and yeah, you there'll be another video soon about some updates with the uh, the foods I've been consuming and kind of grocery shopping, how we're doing that here in Texas, how I'm managing, you know, work, being a parent, and stuff like that. Nothing exciting is happening because this is just life, right? You gotta do your job, take care of your family, take care of your body, and do it all over again the next day, right? So, um, yeah, man, I'm done. So ask away with any questions, and I can help out, and I will.